Dr. Wessels here. Do you have a couple minutes for your sales development? Let's talk about responses to price and the business case. Now, sooner or later, you're going to encounter a customer that wants to negotiate the price of your product or service. Big surprise. Sometimes these people are buyers. Then they get to be very sophisticated and will use advanced techniques on you to attempt to frighten you into the prospect of losing the sale, the revenue, or even your reputation. We do have a section on negotiation that shows you how these techniques work and how to resist them. Today, we're going to put all that tactical maneuvering aside and discuss the generic best defenses against negotiating price. And that is defenses that are implemented far before the configuration of the product or service are set. One powerful way to do this is the business case. Business cases are how large and sophisticated organizations justify expenditures, but you don't need to hold back and save the use of these approaches for just those types of large deals. You can use this process anywhere, and many of the best salespeople do. They construct a monetized rationale for change, but honestly, anyone can do it. You don't need a business degree, you don't even need much training. Timeshare vacation salespeople put pencil to paper and add up the cost of a vacation to compare it to the purchase of a timeshare all the time. And that's pretty straightforward. So how do we do that? Here's the business case how-to. Now it comes fast, so I want you to pay attention, grab a pencil and paper. We start with the why, which is the pain point, and we expand on the implications of that problem, and we make a list in a column. We take those implications and assign values to them, and we add them up. Then we compare the costs and consequences of staying put, the sum, with the cost of the product and service. We make sure that the pain point to implications fit tightly so that it makes sense in a rationale or a story format. The story format or rationale is simply this leads to that, leads to that, leads to that, leads to that. We monetize each that by making reasonable estimates and claiming them out loud as assumptions, not hard numbers, assumptions. We shouldn't ever defend an estimate, just make sure it's reasonable. That means it should make sense to you and another sane person. And I said sane person, because it's really not a good idea to practice making business cases with your pals in the loony bin, or my pals. The best idea is to know your columns and assumptions well enough to be able to do this on a blank sheet of paper with your customer. First, you want to write it out alone. Make sure you've got it tight, but it won't work until you've invited a customer to participate in correcting the assumptions. Once the customer has corrected the numbers, the sum sits there and is very convincing, mainly because they helped create it. Now let's try and put this all together in an example, and it's going to go kind of fast. But let's say you're selling houses. A home buyer is waffling between two properties that have a value difference in price of $100,000, and you want to sell the more costly property. So you need to construct a monetized rationale for about $100,000. In this case, for this example, the pain point is location. The implications of location are missing additional appreciation in the more expensive house, different schools, dissatisfaction with the house leading to more renovations, and travel time. Just 4. Now missing additional appreciation at 5% per year for 10 years at $100,000 is $50,000 in lost equity. Enrollment in lower quality schools will reduce children's performance academically. They lose possible scholarships worth $50,000 over 4 years. That's actually a pretty low estimate. Lower satisfaction with the house will also cause this person to do more renovation and beautification to the house, spending $15,000 on the kitchen, for example, another $15,000 on landscaping, and probably $15,000 more on other interior projects over the next 2 to 3 years. Additional travel time to and from work. 4th, 10 minutes each way is 20 minutes a day, 100 hours a year, or 1.5 weeks of full-time work consumed by commuting. Taken together, that's about $95,000 in extra value for the more expensive house before you look at scholarships and the risk from driving an extra week and a half. So building a business case allows you to take a different angle on showing value, not compared to another product, but compared to not having the product. The process can be done on a napkin. Create a rationale, quantify it, and then get the customer to collaborate with you and make that value become real. When we're selling value, we're selling faster and we're selling better. And we need to do that because The only thing we can't make more of is time, so sell well.